All right, let me take you inside something that's been brewing just beneath the surface of the NFL. A buzz that started as a whisper, but now it's exploded into a full-on roar. And right at the center of it all, Cleveland, Ohio. Yeah, I know how that sounds, but I'm not exaggerating here. What we're witnessing might be the start of something massive, something nobody saw coming, but now it's unfolding right in front of us. If you've been paying any attention, if you've caught even a glimpse on Twitter, heard a quick mention, on the radio, or maybe stumbled across some leaked mini-camp footage, then you probably felt it too. That shift. That jolt. And it's all circling around one name. Shedeur Sanders. That's right, Shedeur Sanders, the rookie, the fifth-round pick, Deion Sanders' son. Most folks thought he'd just quietly sit back, learn the ropes, carry a clipboard, and maybe fight for a backup job someday. That was the plan. That's what the depth chart told us. That's what all the analysts predicted. But Shedeur? He clearly didn't get that memo, because whatever script he was supposed to follow, he's tossing it right out the window and writing a brand new one in Cleveland Browns camp. And I need you to really sit with how insane this actually is. This isn't your average rookie flashing in some no-pads, low-pressure drill. This kid walked into one of the most crowded quarterback rooms in the entire league. Joe Flacco, Kenny Pickett, Dillon Gabriel, and somehow, someway, he's become the headline of the offseason. By the way, if you're enjoying this, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, smash that like, and let me know what you're thinking in the comments. Now, let's rewind a little bit. Back to draft day. Shedeur Sanders gets taken in the 5th round. That's the range where quarterbacks usually fade into obscurity. Most are camp arms or long-term projects. But the moment Shedeur stepped into the building, something felt different. The way he carried himself, the way he locked in, the way he approached every rep. There was a spark, and this isn't just media hype. I've been listening, connecting dots, digging into what's actually being said behind the scenes, and from what I'm hearing inside that building, the staff is blown away. One coach flat out told me he processes the playbook faster than any rookie I've ever worked with. Another said he sees it on the whiteboard, walks through it once, and then goes out there and executes it like he's been doing it for years. That's not just talent, that's next-level football IQ. And that's how you climb the depth chart when nobody expects you to. Now let's talk about the moment that changed everything. Mini camp, full speed, high stakes, move the ball, drills. Normally that's a two-man show for the top QBs. But this time, Shedeur stepped in ahead of Dillon Gabriel. No fanfare, no public statement. Just a quiet, deliberate move by the coaching staff. And he delivered. This wasn't a good for a rookie kind of showing. This was command, poise, confidence. He took the huddle like it was his team, ripped balls over the middle, anticipated tight windows, and stretched the field. One of the coaches even told me that wasn't a lucky drive. That was a message. Remember, this is the same Shedeur Sanders who got sacked over 90 times at Colorado and still managed to complete over 71% of his passes, 74% last year alone. That's not just impressive. That's absurd. Most guys get rattled under that kind of pressure. Their mechanics fall apart. Their confidence crumbles. But Shedeur, he stood in the fire and kept delivering. And now he's got a real offensive line in front of him. He's surrounded by NFL talent, and he's thriving. I've watched every clip I could find. I've scoured every leak. And the word I keep coming back to? Precision. These aren't lucky completions. These are NFL throws, sideline fades, timing passes over linebackers, laser beams in tight red zone windows. And it's not just me noticing. Camp reporters are saying he's making fewer mistakes than anyone else in the room. And let's be real. This quarterback competition is wide open. No disrespect to Pickett or Flacco, but there's no established superstar here. The door is cracked wide, and Shedeur Sanders is pushing it open. Now look, I know some of you are probably saying, chill, it's early. And you're not wrong. No pads yet, no preseason. But you don't need game day fireworks to recognize when something special is happening. When a rookie shows up and starts making real noise this early, that's not smoke. That's fire. And everyone in that building knows it. The staff, the front office, and yeah, even the veterans, especially the other quarterbacks in that room. They feel it. Because this isn't just about arm strength, this is about leadership, charisma, mental sharpness, and poise under pressure. It's about Shedeur stepping into that spotlight and handling it like he's been here before. So what does all of this mean? It means we have a real quarterback battle on our hands, and the guy no one expected to contend, he might just be the one leading this franchise. I'm watching every snap, every throw, every decision, because if this keeps up, we might be witnessing one of the greatest draft steals in recent NFL memory. Now, if you haven't already, go ahead. Hit that subscribe button, drop a like, and share your thoughts in the comments. Your support keeps this channel going. Let's pivot for a moment and talk about what it really means if Kenny Pickett is the Week 1 starter. This isn't just about football, it's about survival. If Kevin Stefanski goes with Pickett, he's telling us everything we need to know, that his job is on the line right now. That every game could be his last. Pickett's not flashy, but he's safe. He knows how to manage a game, and that's what coaches turn to when the pressure's coming down from ownership and fans alike. But if Stefanski puts Shedeur out there in Week 1, that says something totally different. That says this team is building, that the front office is giving Stefanski some grace, some breathing room, that he believes in Shedeur's upside. And from what I heard inside that building before all this hype exploded, the plan was never to give Shedeur a real shot at the job. He was supposed to be a long-term project, practice squad guy at best. But then they saw the tape, and everything changed. They watched him process, throw, lead, and suddenly the plan didn't make sense anymore. Now, Stefanski's caught in a brutal catch-22. If he goes with Pickett or Gabriel and they tank, he's gone. If he gambles on Shedeur and the rookie struggles, same result. But the difference is, one path builds toward the future, and one doesn't. And here's the crazy part. Players are already rallying around Shedeur. Not quietly, not in whispers. We're talking veterans, captains. Myles Garrett himself went on record saying, Shedeur shows up every day with a smile and energy that inspires those around him. That's not just a compliment. That's a cultural shift. That's your locker room choosing a side. And then the coaching staff handed him first-team reps, not as a gesture, but as a test. And so far, he's passing. Maybe even acing it. If I'm Stefanski, the only reason I start Flacco or Pickett is if I'm in full-blown damage control mode. Because let's be honest, if this team starts the season with one of the vets and stumbles out the gate, Stefanski and Andrew Berry are probably gone. That's the nature of the business. And that long-term plan, it's already unraveling. Shedeur wasn't supposed to be ready, but the film doesn't lie. The reads, the timing, the anticipation, it all lines up. And now the decision-makers are asking themselves, did we just stumble onto something we can't ignore? Now, before I wrap this up, let me just say, Shedeur's not the only one making noise out there. Quinshon Judkins is slicing through defenses like he's been in the league for years. That burst, that vision, it's next level. He looks ready. And with Cleveland's running back room still a question mark, Judkins could be a feature back faster than anyone expected. Then there's Carson Swessinger, rookie linebacker, quietly becoming a leader in the making. Jordan Hicks won't stop talking about the kid's instincts, his awareness, the way he reads the field. They're already calling him a potential green dot, future defensive play caller. Watch that space. And Jerry Jeudy? He's looking like WR1 without even trying. The chemistry with Flacco is real. The routes are sharp. The timing's clean. With Elijah Moore no longer in the picture, Jeudy is seizing his moment. But of course, not everyone is rising. Deontay Hardy? No show at OTAs. And for a journeyman, that's dangerous. New team, new system. You can't afford to miss those reps. And then there's the Deshaun Watson situation. Let's just be real. He was absent, and the silence is deafening. The vibe? It feels like we're watching a slow fade to irrelevance. Two rookie quarterbacks just landed in Cleveland. And then they brought in Flacco and traded for Kenny Pickett. Now you tell me, what does that say? Because to me it's loud and clear. It's not just writing on the wall, it's bold, underlined, maybe even blinking in red. When you take Deshaun Watson's injury history, the off-field baggage, and a steady decline in play, the path back to being the guy feels more like a tightrope walk over a canyon. Let's be real. Watson being QB5, that's not a slide. That's a free fall. And speaking of Kenny Pickett, what is his role in all this? Is he just an insurance policy, trade bait? Honestly, it might be both. Right now, he's in limbo. Not quite a starter, not quite a backup you can rely on. But I'll tell you one thing. The arrow is pointing down. Pickett is technically QB2 right now, sure. But when I look at how Shedeur Sanders and Dillon Gabriel are showing out in OTAs, and when you've got Flacco clearly locked in as the QB1, Pickett feels like the odd man out. And let's not sugarcoat it. His 2024 tape? Mediocre at best. 1 touchdown, 1 interception, 5 games. That doesn't scream franchise QB to me. It whispers backup. And maybe that's the silver lining here. If Pickett can't climb the depth chart, maybe the Browns can get some value back for him. Ship him off for a 5th or 6th rounder. That might be the smartest move for everyone involved. But hold up. Don't get too comfortable because we're just scratching the surface here. That was wave 1 of the seismic shakeups coming out of OTAs. These are names you've got to keep on your radar. Futures may already be written, and yet, we're only halfway through this thing. The second half? It's going to cut even deeper into what the 2025 Browns are shaping up to be. Because if you're paying attention, these OTAs weren't just a casual run-through. They gave us real clarity. We're starting to see the shape of what's coming, and Browns fans, let me tell you, this team is standing at a crossroads. Every position group is being redefined. Coaching staff is showing zero hesitation. They're handing out legit reps to rookies. They're testing the vets. And they're making it clear. Reputation doesn't mean a thing anymore. It's perform or pack. Simple as that. Let's circle back to Shedeur Sanders for a second, because that storyline is just heating up. If you're the Browns and your former franchise QB is hanging by a thread, and suddenly this 5th rounder is stacking impressive days in OTAs, that's not just a fun story. That's a potential shift in the entire quarterback room. This isn't about how Shedeur looks in a t-shirt and helmet. This is about how fast he's reading the field, how sharp his decisions are, how calm he looks under pressure. The coaches? Oh, they see it, they feel it. If Sanders keeps this going into minicamp and the preseason, don't be surprised if he leapfrogs Pickett on the depth chart. That's not a hot take anymore. That's reality coming into focus. Now let's talk. Running backs. Because, man, Judkins, he's not just turning heads, he's putting the entire backfield on notice. And the Browns aren't easing him in. They're getting him ready to contribute right now. If Nick Chubb's return is delayed, or even just managed carefully, Judkins might be the guy eating up those first-team reps. And it's not a fluke. That outside cut for a big gain, that wasn't luck. That was elite burst, vision, instincts. You don't coach that. That kind of talent, it erupts. And it's erupting right now. Flip it over to the defense. We already mentioned Carson Swessinger. And let me double down on this. He's not just a camp flash. This rookie linebacker is calling out offensive formations like a vet. He's diagnosing plays before the snap. He's not just reacting, he's anticipating. That's what coaches drool over. That's what earns respect in a room full of killers. And in an already stacked linebacker core, it's that level of football IQ that sets him apart. I'm telling you, Swessinger's presence could change how the Browns build their defensive packages. More speed, more versatility, more chaos. And we can't talk offense without talking about Jerry Jeudy. Look, the media's hyping up his potential. Breakout. But let's dig deeper. What I'm seeing is chemistry. He's building something real with Flacco. Not just route timing, trust, communication, leadership. He's stepping into that WR1 role and owning it. No more splitting time. With Elijah Moore, This is Judy's room now, and with the QB situation as fluid as it is, a reliable WR1 is priceless. He's not just a luxury, he's a necessity. But yeah, we gotta address the elephant in the room. Deshaun Watson. This isn't just bad optics anymore, it's a slow-motion collapse. Legal problems, injury setbacks, now radio silence at OTAs. That's not a red flag. That's a siren. You don't draft 2 quarterbacks and bring in Joe Flacco because you believe in a Watson comeback. You do that because you're preparing to move on. Watson might still be on the books, but he's not in the future. QB5, done. And as for Kenny Pickett, he's stuck. Caught between rising rookies and a vet who already has command of the offense. I won't be surprised if the Browns quietly shop him before week 1. Some team out there might see him as a backup option. If Cleveland can get a mid to late round pick in return, that's a win. Because right now, he's not in the long-term blueprint either. So here's the bottom line. Sanders is rising. Judkins is ready. Schlesinger is ascending. Judy is shining. And Watson, Pickett, they're fading fast. That should light a fire under every Browns fan out there. Because this moment we're in, it's not just about talent on paper, it's about trajectory. And the future of this franchise, it's being forged right now in Berea. These June battles, they could be the ones that decide September's reality. So what's next? Mandatory minicamp. Real reps, real contact, real answers. We'll see who levels up, who gets exposed, and who turns heads. But Browns fans, this is your moment too. Your team is evolving, the competition is real, and the future, it's up for grabs. So I want to hear from you. Can Shedeur Sanders lock in that QB2 spot? Should the Browns move on from Watson and Pickett now, or wait and see? Who's your breakout star for 2025? Drop it in the comments. If you're rocking with this breakdown, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on those notifications. Because this is your home for all things Cleveland Browns. We're going to be breaking every angle, all season long, from OTA whispers to playoff pushes. Now let me hit you with one last thought. What if I told you the 2025 Browns season doesn't come down to one man, but 3? A rookie trying not to fall, a star recommitting for more than just glory, and a quiet force taking control of the locker room. It's all happening right now, and I've got more to break down. Let's start with Myles Garrett. The Browns didn't just pay him. They bet the franchise on him. $160 million, highest paid non-QB in the league. This isn't a contract, it's a declaration. They're building the whole defense around his gravity, and that kind of pressure, it's not normal. It's championship level. Now on the rumor front, yeah, I've heard the Kyle Pitts chatter too. But does it make sense? Not really. The Steelers already have Pat Freiermuth, reliable, sure-handed. Bringing in Pitts, who overlaps with him and would demand a massive extension? I don't buy it. If anything, keep an eye on Jonnu Smith. Explosive after the catch. Already proven in Arthur Smith's system. Had a better 2023 than Pitts anyway. And here's what I've been told. If Pickett starts week 1, Stefanski is coaching. For his job. If Shedeur starts, that means ownership's bought in. They're giving him the runway to build something real. And that quarterback room? It's tense. Flacco's cool. Gabriel was the sleeper the staff wanted. But now, it's Shedeur's room. I've been told straight up, everyone's holding their breath, waiting on Stefanski's decision. And here's the crazy part. There are whispers that the Browns took Gabriel early just to block ownership from reaching on Sanders. That's wild. And now, that plan may have backfired. Because the guy they were trying to stash might be the one who saves their season. So let me ask the real question. Has Shedeur Sanders already become the best quarterback on the roster? Because if that answer is yes, and it's starting to feel like it is, then how much longer can they justify keeping him on the bench? This isn't just a quarterback competition anymore. This might be the start of a whole new era in Cleveland. And the best part? This story. It's nowhere near over. It's just getting started. So stay locked in. The next few weeks could change everything. Thanks for watching and see you next one.